Good morning, everyone. On a tout un groupe ici aujourd'hui. Les ministres LeBlanc, Virani, Rodriguez, Champagne, Anand, des parlementaires, des régions touchées, des partenaires provinciaux aussi. Le solliciteur général de l'Ontario, Michael Kurtzner, le ministre de la Sécurité publique du Québec, François Bonnardel, des maires, des mairesses, des chefs de police, des leaders d'industrie. Merci tous d'être des nôtres aujourd'hui. We've all come together today to take a serious look at how we're going to crack down on auto theft in Canada. The rise over the last years has been alarming. Organized crime is becoming more brazen, and the international black market for the stolen cars is expanding. The stories we hear are troubling. Len from Toronto had his stolen car located in Ghana. A vehicle from Milton was discovered on sale online in Nigeria. One family from the GTA had their SUV stolen 3 separate times. These cars are stolen from driveways at home, from parking lots at work, and sometimes while people are just out running errands. It's a violation. Acheter une voiture, c'est un gros investissement. Les gens ont besoin de leur auto pour aller au travail, pour reconduire les enfants à l'école, pour passer à l'épicerie, pour se rendre chez le médecin. So we're convening this summit because Canadians need serious action. A catchy slogan won't stop auto theft. A 2-minute YouTube video won't disrupt organized crime. Cracking down on auto theft means bringing law enforcement, border services, port authorities, car makers, and insurance companies together. Now, first things first, we need to stop these criminals who are part of gangs and organized crime. As you know, Ontario is one of the hotspots for auto theft, so last week we announced $121 million to support law enforcement in the province. We're also looking at further strengthening penalties for anyone who participates in auto theft. On travaille aussi pour que les différentes autorités policières puissent mieux collaborer, que ce soit les services de police locaux, régionaux, provinciaux, ferroviaires ou internationaux. Les services frontaliers donnent déjà suite à toutes les informations données par les policiers. Alors, avec plus d'informations pour eux, on va pouvoir intercepter encore plus de vols. Et plus on va travailler ensemble, plus on va pouvoir freiner les exportations et les ventes illégales. In the previous government, funding for border security was gutted. The long tail of cuts like this have hurt the ability of border agents to do their jobs. We've been reinvesting in the Canada Border Services Agency, not just to make up for those cuts, but also to make sure that they have the support they need to keep up with the evolving ways lawbreakers try to get away with their crimes. We all want to make sure our enforcement agencies have all the tools necessary to prevent auto theft and to get your stolen car back. Yesterday, we announced new funding to make sure the Canada Border Service Agency, RCMP, and the Public Safety Ministry are equipped with enhanced investigative tools and can better detect illegal shipments at ports and recover more stolen vehicles. Of course, one of the best things we can do to prevent auto theft is prevent those thefts from happening in the first place. The fact is, it's become too easy for criminals to get sophisticated electronic devices that make it simple, for example, to copy car key fobs. C'est inacceptable que ce soit possible d'acheter des outils qui aident le vol de voitures sur les grandes plateformes d'achat en ligne. Je peux vous assurer que le ministre Champagne explore tous les moyens de prévenir leur vente et leur usage à des fins criminelles. C'est important que le secteur privé fasse aussi partie de la solution en innovant et en améliorant la conception de voitures pour prévenir les vols. Quand les Canadiens investissent dans une auto, ils doivent le faire en toute confiance. Les gens des compagnies d'assurance qui sont ici aujourd'hui savent à quel point ce problème est sérieux. Il y a trop de réclamations à rembourser. On doit s'assurer que l'achat d'un véhicule et les assurances auto soient abordables et durables pour tout le monde. With insurance rates going up because of thefts, we want to look at ways to bring down the cost of insurance, to reduce rates for owners, which could include offering incentives to car owners who invest in powerful anti-theft devices. Bottom line is we all need to be creative to stop these crimes from happening. There's an awful lot to talk about today, and seeing people from so many different sectors come together to address this growing problem is going to be reassuring for Canadians. But the big part of it is when we actually deliver on things that are going to prevent people's cars from being stolen and quickly get them back if ever they are. I know there's a lot of work to do today, and I know there's a lot of great people around the table right now who are leaning in on this. So we have to, because Canadians are expecting it of us. We're going to work together and with international law enforcement agencies like Interpol to get to the bottom of this so we can keep Canadians and their cars safe. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Thank you for being here. I'm going to pass it over to others now, but I really appreciate having the opportunity to see you all, and thank you directly for being here, for your leadership in your respective fields, and for the fact that we can now reassure Canadians that more is going to be done, and we are going to keep them and their property safe. Merci tout le monde.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Premier ministre. Et maintenant, je vais donner la parole à 5 ministres du gouvernement fédéral, en commençant avec le ministre de la Sécurité publique, Monsieur Dominic LeBlanc. We have a tight schedule, so each minister will have only 2 minutes to speak. I have here this very handy little red card that I will wave when there's 15 seconds left. Allez-y, Monsieur le ministre.
Merci beaucoup. Well, you should have been sitting in front of the politicians if you want to cut them off, not to the side. Good morning, tout le monde. Merci beaucoup d'être là. And thank you for joining us, as the Prime Minister said, at this national summit on combating auto theft. As the Prime Minister said, I'm very pleased to be joined this morning by my cabinet colleagues, but also senior officials of my department, of the Public Safety Department, and of course the Commissioner of the RCMP, Mike Duhem, and the President of the Canadian Border Services Agency, Aaron O'Gorman. Thank you very much for joining us. As all of you know, auto theft is something that we have discussed, many of us, over the last a number of weeks and months, and something that my caucus colleagues and other parliamentarians have spoken to many of us about as well. Suite à l'annonce de ce sommet, nous n'avons pas été surpris de voir l'intérêt que ça a suscité dans tout le pays. C'est un engouement qui démontre, cet engouement démontre la pertinence d'un forum comme celui-ci, une occasion pour nous tous de se réunir, discuter, mais surtout d'identifier des solutions concrètes. Car ce n'est qu'en travaillant ensemble que nous allons obtenir des résultats. Cooperation was at the very heart of an announcement that I made last week with my friend, the Solicitor General of Ontario, Michael Kerzner, and Premier Ford, and Ontario police leaders. We announced that Ontario will get $121 million in federal funding to support crime prevention and enforcement efforts, including, obviously, auto theft. This funding builds on many of the joint initiatives that are already underway and which are leading to results in communities across the country. The government wants to take immediate action with partners from across the country, and for us to have, d'avoir nos homologues, mon homologue du Québec, M. Bonnardel, et les chefs de police de la province du Québec, accompagnés de ceux de l'Ontario, c'est une occasion importante pour nous d'identifier des solutions concrètes. Et je vous remercie encore une fois d'être là, les élus municipaux, mais surtout les gens qui vont nous proposer des solutions, et j'ai bien hâte de travailler avec vous conjointement dans les prochaines semaines. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup. Minister Virani.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dominic, for passing the baton and for hosting us. Thank you to everyone who's in the room today and who's been speaking to us about the job of tackling auto theft in Canada. We're here today to literally roll up our sleeves and get to work, and I think Canadians, it goes without saying, are expecting action from us. I know they're feeling insecure in their communities. I'm not just a minister, I'm also a Toronto Member of Parliament who lives close to the highways that are being used for the trafficking of these vehicles. And my message to my constituents and to Canadians that are watching is that we are listening, and together with all of the important leaders in this room, we are ready to act. You have heard what we are doing to help law enforcement. Dominic and the Prime Minister covered this. Important investments to tackle the surge in auto thefts and carjackings. Cela signifie également examiner nos lois. Nous examinerons de près le code criminel afin de trouver les améliorations intelligentes, ciblées et efficaces qui ne causeront pas plus de problèmes qu'elles ne résoudront. Cela implique de se concentrer sur les liens avec les criminels organisés, les personnes responsables d'une grande partie des vols des véhicules. Le Code criminel dispose déjà des mesures robustes pour lutter contre le vol des véhicules à moteur à toutes les étapes du crime, que ce soit d'un vol, d'une clé électronique ou la vente des véhicules volés. Il cible également les produits du crime, c'est-à-dire les profits généraux à partir des véhicules volés. Just so that everyone is clear, people, I think Canadians need to understand, we raised the maximum penalty for summary motor vehicle theft convictions in 2019 from 18 months to 2 years less a day. And vehicle theft, when it proceeds by indictment, can lead to a penalty of 10 years imprisonment. The mandatory minimum for an offense is 6 months in the case of a third or subsequent offense. And vehicle theft done in connection with organized crime is already an aggravating factor. That being said, there's a lot of work to be done, and I think the most important message that I can give to you is that the criminal code is my responsibility as the Minister of Justice, and I'm very keen to hear your ideas and suggestions for how we can improve that important statute in terms of keeping Canadians safe from the crisis of car theft that we are seeing. Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Ministre Rodriguez.
Good morning, everyone. Salut tout le monde. Alors, conduire son auto, ça veut dire pouvoir aller travailler, faire des commissions, conduire les enfants au soccer. Pour beaucoup de Canadiens, c'est le moyen de transport qui simplifie la vie. Et souvent, c'est le seul moyen de transport qui leur soit disponible. Alors, se faire voler son auto, c'est à la fois un coût extrêmement dur sur le plan financier, mais aussi sur le plan émotionnel. Et trop de Canadiens ont payé ce prix-là. Canadians don't need one more thing to worry about. We have to come together to fix this. It's our job collectively to do it. Et les casse-têtes pour organiser les déplacements, les primes d'assurance qui augmentent, ça crée énormément d'angoisse, on devient plus méfiant, c'est normal. On est tous humains. Il est temps que ça arrête maintenant. Too many Canadians have had their cars stolen, and it's a total invasion of someone's life. And to organize crime, we say, time's up. Time's up. On veut que chacun joue notre rôle pour contrer le vol d'auto. C'est pour ça qu'on est là aujourd'hui, pour travailler ensemble. Everyone here today knows that they can do more to prevent car theft, and will do more together. Some people would have Canadians believe that there can be one simple, single, easy solution that's going to magically solve the problem. Personally, I've never seen a unicorn. We need solutions, not slogans. Et on le sait, une grande partie des véhicules volés sont expédiés vers l'étranger, vendus tels quels ou en pièces détachées. Many stolen cars are shipped abroad through our ports, and with public safety, we're going to review port security plans and implement robust measures to deny access to organized crime. Il faut chercher des solutions partout. Est-ce que nos compagnies ferroviaires peuvent jouer un rôle? Est-ce qu'il existe de nouvelles technologies pour rendre la vie plus difficile pour les voleurs? Technology has evolved, and we need to review our motor vehicle safety and standards to reflect that. I will also speak to my provincial and territorial counterparts about their jurisdiction on the aftermarket anti-theft devices. We need to think and talk about how we do that with car manufacturers, with insurers. We need to hear from you, from all of you. And today, you'll hear about the government's plan, some of the things that we want to do. We need to hear what you guys want to do also. Technological change also means we can gather more data now than before along our supply chain. How can we use that data to make sure our trade corridors work well for legitimate trade, but also how can it work better to prevent criminal activity? Alors, on doit se poser toutes ces questions-là aujourd'hui. On doit se mettre d'accord sur les réponses rapidement. Merci.
Minister Anand.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Madame la mairesse, messieurs les maires qui sont ici avec nous, chers collègues parlementaires, je dirais aussi les membres des corps policiers qui sont ici avec nous, les gens de l'industrie et le ministre LeBlanc, merci de nous accueillir. Je dirais en 10 ans, c'est l'un des grands sommets que j'ai vus. Alors, félicitations. Je pense que le fait qu'on soit ensemble aujourd'hui, c'est un grand moment. Écoutez, le message est simple aujourd'hui pour ceux qui nous regardent à la maison. On serre la vis aux criminels. C'est ça aujourd'hui qu'on est en train de faire ensemble. Et I must say, as you can see, we brought together a full team of, I would say this is the A-team to tackle that collectively and making sure that the key stakeholders, each in our respective jurisdiction, we will take action to take this problem from as many angles as possible. I think everyone understands it's a complex problem and we all have a role to play in fixing it. C'est pour ça que, pour maîtriser la situation, il est essentiel de travailler en collaboration. Puis je pense que ce matin, c'est un grand moment de collaboration à travers le pays, avec un éventail d'intervenants, y compris évidemment les gouvernements à tous les niveaux, mais aussi les gens de l'industrie qui vont avoir un rôle clé à jouer. L'objectif d'aujourd'hui est simple pour les gens qui sont avec nous, c'est d'être en mode solution pour éradiquer le fléau qu'est le vol d'automobiles au pays. Notre approche sera d'être innovant. Effectivement, par exemple, nous avons des entités comme Solutions innovatrices du Canada qui va explorer les possibilités d'accélérer le développement de solutions innovatrices afin de mieux prévenir le vol de véhicules. The creativity of Canadians innovators will ultimately lead the way. So I'm excited to see what kind of solutions will be developed by them. On prevention, criminals are using tools like Uncertify and, let me quote, immobilizer reprogrammers and GPS jammers to steal cars. The famous flipper, those who have been on the internet would know what I mean. We have already taken action to remove uncertified and illegal product from the market. We have targeted 22 product brands and engaged 13 distributors, resulting already in the removal of more than 300 products offering and listing from the Canadian distribution chain. But we need and we are going to be doing more. Par contre, comme vous imaginez, la technologie continue d'évoluer constamment pour créer des produits encore plus sophistiqués qui facilitent le vol des voitures. Et plusieurs Canadiens, comme le ministre LeBlanc le dit avec raison, le premier ministre, sont inquiets que de tels appareils soient en circulation et même encore aujourd'hui, comme on parle ce matin, utilisés pour détecter le signal de leur clé et faciliter le vol des voitures. We are going to stop that. So this morning, we're going to be taking steps to ban the importation, sale, and use of consumer hacking devices like the famous flippers used to commit these crimes. So I hope that everyone watching is on notice. Le vol d'automobile est un problème auquel le gouvernement ne peut s'attaquer seul. Nous avons tous et toutes ici aujourd'hui un rôle à jouer dans cette initiative. C'est pourquoi j'ai hâte d'entendre les différents collègues ici ce matin. Les gens qui sont réunis aujourd'hui ont tous et chacun des solutions, alors que nous allons continuer de travailler ensemble pour protéger les Canadiens et mettre un frein à ce problème croissant. Mesdames et messieurs, on vous dit bienvenue ici à Ottawa. Thanks for being here with all of us. And now, I will cede the floor to my colleague, Minister Anand. Merci.
Mr. Anand.
Bonjour tout le monde, merci chers collègues et tout le monde dans la salle aujourd'hui d'être ici avec nous ce matin pour une conversation très importante. I really felt a positive vibe in the room this morning and in the foyer as we were coming up. And many, many people came to me and said, this is an excellent idea to combat a serious problem in our country. And the issue is serious, and public policy demands serious conversation and collective collaboration towards a solution, and that's what we are here to do today together. We know that the economic burdens of auto theft in aggregate amount to over $1 billion when you look at the insurance, the health care, and the criminal justice system costs. And this economic burden is augmented by the tangible and visceral effects on Canadians individually and as families when vehicles are stolen off of driveways, as has happened in my neighborhood of Oakville so many times. I've had conversations with local law enforcement and municipal leaders, and I thank you all for being here today, including Chief Tanner, Mayor Burton, and Councillor Knoll, who I think is on the line, who chairs the Police Services Board. It's collective action that is going to be necessary to address this problem going forward, and that's why we have gathered all of us here today to have this important conversation. I will say that la lutte contre le vol d'automobile, c'est une responsabilité partagée et il est essentiel d'avoir cette conversation ce matin. I know from my previous life as an academic that good public policy results from collaboration, and that's exactly what we will do today. Donc, avec ça, merci beaucoup. J'apprécie votre présence aujourd'hui.
Thank you, ministers. We will now take a moment for the media to vacate the room.